You're listening to the Misfit Therapist podcast with Dr. A, where it's all about talking through some messy psych shit so we can all get better soon. This show is not intended to diagnose or treat mental health disorders, nor is it a substitution for mental health services. Please seek counseling, medication, or crisis intervention services if needed.
Well, hello, Misfits. This is episode 6. We are calling today's episode Expose Self to Loving Self. This is Dr. A. Thanks so much for coming back. In sessions, I keep hearing, I feel so lonely. I want to get back to normal. And these comments started to make me think, what do these things really mean? What do they mean to you if you dig a little deeper? Everything has changed. 2020 is not what we expected, and it all looks so different. I miss my friends, I miss my gym, I miss my church, I miss going out. Maybe. But what if you miss these things because you don't like yourself as much as you thought? What if you miss these things because you're lacking in the self-love department? You don't really love you. You've been forced to spend more time alone than ever before, and this time, not by choice. COVID. It's all COVID's fault. Is it? No. Your problems were present before COVID. We have been terrified of COVID exposure, and we never could have imagined that it was COVID that would tear our masks right off. You have been exposed. Pre-COVID, we were allowed to hide behind things. School, work, responsibilities. But I'm so busy. Sure you are. But busy and productive are two different things. The latter is what we strive for. With some exceptions, you have never had to show up for yourself the way that this pandemic has forced you to. And even with that push, some of you keep pointing to this virus as the source for your unhappiness, your current status, and your rejection of self. Your depression was present before the virus. Your anxiety was present before the virus. Your money issues were present before this virus. Yeah, sure, the virus added pressures we could not have imagined, but it's not COVID's fault. And that's the problem. We tend to externalize our problems, our worth, the solution to these things. We externalize deeper meaning to things. Hello, social media, comparisons, the news, and or that negative presence in your life. When all along, all we've had to do was come back to self. Because what needs to be loved and cared for and amplified is internal. It's on the inside, it's you. Our minds are so crowded with the wrong things. We're becoming numb to things that truly bring us to life. Here we are, caught up in achievement, status, popularity. Look at me. But wait, don't look at me on the inside. Only look at my outside, because my insides make me super nervous. Hell, my insides are kind of ugly. Where is the love? Self-love. It's time to operate from a place of peace, not a place of seeking pleasure, because peace stays around a lot longer than temporary highs. And peace comes from knowing thyself, loving yourself. What is self-love anyway? It means having a high regard for your own well-being and happiness. Catch that, high regard. It means taking care of your own needs and not being a sacrificial lamb. It means not settling for less than you deserve. It all sounds so simple, right? But are you honoring these things to the fullest? Because even if one thing is out of alignment, you're in trouble. Okay, my favorite time. It's pen and paper time, because fall 2020 will not only see the changing of the leaves, it will see the changing of you. So let's talk about it. I've got a couple of steps here. How do we develop self-love? Most important thing, number 1, take care of yourself. I mean it. I admit it. I've been terrible at this in the past, and sometimes I still struggle. But you have one body, I have one body, and it remembers absolutely everything. Taking care of yourself means being mindful of what you're putting into your body: healthy food, drink, supplements, but also what you're listening to, who you're with, what you're reading. Taking care of yourself also means dressing the part. You shouldn't be walking around in faded clothes, in clothes that have holes in them. You are worth more than holes in your clothes. The other thing about self love: take care of your home. Your home should be your sacred, peaceful space. And if your home is in disarray, that is something to look at and to fix immediately. Your home is a reflection of your own self love and where you are in your life. Number two, with regard to self love, I want you to develop an F list and then burn it. What's an F list? Well, I'm sure you guessed it. It's a fuck 'em list, meaning I want you to come up with a list of the individuals in your life that have been toxic, manipulative, and unapologetic to your needs. Put as many people on that list as needed, and every month, distance yourself from one of them. Get rid of these people from your life little by little until there is no one left on the fuck 'em list. Number three, there's a second list that I want you to develop. I call this list the A list. Why? Because these are the people that are the angels in your life. I want you to find a builder. That means someone who builds you up. Pretty self explanatory. I also want you to find a cheerleader, someone who roots for you and accepts you for who you are. I want you to find the collaborator. This is someone who shares the same or similar interests. I want you to find yourself an ally. This is a person who has your back, who's your go to person when shit hits the fan. I want you to find a schmoozer. What's a schmoozer? That's a person that helps connect you to others in the community, other social groups. Find yourself the sunshine. This is a person that makes you smile. Find yourself a challenger. Exactly as it sounds, they challenge you and they keep your mind open and they make you think about provocative things and ideas. I also want you to find yourself a mentor. This is forever. This is the sage of your life. If you find an individual that possesses all of these qualities or most of these qualities, keep them. Keep them in your life because they're unicorns. You lose one of those and you'll be looking for them the rest of your life. The next thing about self-love: self-compassion. Start treating yourself like you would a friend or someone you love. Be kind and gentle with yourself, especially when you're experiencing fear or anxiety or pain. Give yourself encouragement and celebrate every moment. When you have a decision to make, ask yourself, what would someone who loved themselves do? How would they act? How would they approach a situation? What's the end result going to look like? The next thing, number 5, define yourself. Who are you? And if you are still marinating, you're still being prepared, you must still speak you into existence. You want to be a great fill in the blank, then you must already speak as if it's a done deal. Make sure that other people are not defining you, not your parents, not your partner, not your boss, you, because it's you that has to write your life story, not anybody else. Speaking of writing your story, why are you here? Number 6, why are you here? Define your purpose. What did you come here to do on this earth? Part of self-love is knowing what we came here to do with clarity and conviction. It can change, but you can't walk around not knowing. It causes you stress, anxiety, sadness. In tying who you are and why you're here, remember something. Who you are, meaning your name, you come first, not your gifts. You are not what you can provide. You are loved because of who you are, all on your own. Who we are is self-love, and what we give is only an extension of that. It doesn't define you, because one day you may not be able to give those gifts, and you still remain. And you will continue to love you, just you. The next thing, make sure that you're showing up to your life. You need to walk into your life, not your problems. And if your problems are entering a room before you are, we have a lot of shit to fix, because that's not self-love. Have you ever been somewhere with a friend or an acquaintance, someone walks in the room and they say, "Oh, that's who I was telling you about." The fact that their problems walked in before they did is a major issue. Start thinking, do I really need to purchase this or that? Or do I need to work on my anger? Do I really need another fill in the blank? Or should I be working on that resentment? Do I really need to fix my face when it's the inside of me that isn't looking really great? Number 8, gratitude and kindness. I'm not going to spend too much time just because I've covered this pretty extensively in other episodes, but challenge yourself to be more kind, especially to the unkind. This doesn't mean that you allow people to step on you. It means that we forgive them for not knowing better. Respond with kindness, move on. In this case of gratitude, be thankful for what people are showing you, both the good and the bad, because these things give you tools. It furthers your understanding about them, about others that behave like them, about the world. The next thing when it comes to self-love, and this may not be for everyone, have you connected to a higher source? Or have you not been on talking terms with your higher source? Whether that's universe, God, energy, whatever you want to call it. And for those of you who don't believe in a higher source, okay, fine. But what or who are you connecting to hold yourself accountable to be a good human being? To hold yourself accountable to good behavior and continuing to put great things into this earth? Who's your inspiration? Take a look at that. There was so much that we covered. Again, big ideas, bite-sized pieces that are digestible and applicable. I leave you with an ask. I want you to make an F list, the fuck 'em list, right after this episode. Pick 2 people that you will immediately distance yourself from, especially because the holidays are coming up. And boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. It's time to clean house, people. New season. The dead is falling off of you, and you're getting ready to be born again in your own way. We are done for today. Another successful Wednesday. Thanks so much for listening. I love when you interact with me. Your DMs have been the best. Continue to connect with me by going to themisfittherapist.com and on Facebook and Instagram. Till next time.
Thank you for listening to the Misfit Therapist podcast. Show some love by sharing this message and simply by living each day like a badass.